So for all you colour film lovers out there, Harman have just produced Phoenix II, and I was lucky to have a few rolls sent to me, the 120 and also 35mm to play with. So we'll get straight into it and I'll show you some of the results that I've got on 6x9 with 120 and obviously 35mm. For these photographs I used a Nikon F3 with a 28mm lens and also the Fuji 6x9 camera. And I'm also going to put it side by side with Phoenix Original and see what the differences are, particularly in the grain area. And also got a nice letter as well from Harman explaining about the film. So I'll just quickly give you a little bit of jargon first of all. They say it's a reborn, a new form. This second generation film is very different from the original. Each layer and component has been redesigned and re-engineered into a completely new formulation. New dyes, couplers, and even an experimental layer construct. Whatever that means. And Harman also go on to say that it's difficult to make any film, which I should imagine that it is, and particularly colour film as well in particular. And they say that the original Phoenix provided a benchmark for Phoenix II, and this new limited edition film will do the same. Limited edition film. And they go on to say that improvements have been made to contrast and grain. There's a more accurate colour palette for most colours, and dependent on the scanner used. Well, I had my films scanned and sent back to me from Harman. There's better highlight detail, shadow retention, a better and more accurate lab scanning at default setting. Exposure latitude is improved, although please note that this film still greatly benefits from accurate exposure. Well, I was doing just that with the F3. I had this on aperture priority and this thing's got a banging meter inside. There's nothing wrong with the exposures. This one, I use my handheld Sekonic on incident metering. So let's jump into it. I'll show you the photograph, show you where I was, show you the results, and also show you the difference between the Phoenix that I've got and also this new one. It's funny, when you're only shooting over black and white, like mostly I do, you only see in tones. I just see shades of grey, you know, not 50 shades of grey, but I see shades of grey. That's all I see. And I'm looking at prints as well at the same time, and I'm thinking, will this make a nice print? Is then black's black enough or the white's white enough? La-di-da-di-da. But when you're shooting in colour, you've got a completely different mindset. And I'm no stranger to colour. I shoot digital colour, but when it comes to shooting film and you feel like you're slowing down, I'm literally looking around where I am for different sort of colours and expecting to, when this film gets developed, to see something really beautiful, you know. And I see colour film as kind of nostalgic as I remember it when I was young. I can go through a whole family album of photographs from when I was a kid and see these beautiful colours from all those films back in them day. So I'm down the beach and I'm looking literally for colours, but although there's vibrant colours, there's also sort of subtle colours like these greens and browns and stuff, like this beach I'm on at the moment. And the sun isn't exactly beating down. I've got a polarised filter as well on the lens, so I can just cut through the haze and cut through some of the reflections on the water. But there's so much here to take photographs of, but it's just interesting when you start thinking colour rather than black and white. See, like this, I just took a photograph here in landscape and portrait, and this is quite nice. I'll come forward a bit more because all this dishevelled moved sand, I didn't want that, so I had to come forward more to where the sand is a lot smoother and untrodden on, if you like. And this, look at the browns in this. It's like this light cool brown colour, and you've got this darker brown colour on the sand, a little bit of blue sky. It's kind of like a subtle colour, the whole lot. So there's nothing vibrant about it, but in my mind I'm thinking this will look quite nice as a colour photograph. This is the first photograph that I've looked at from the Phoenix II from that scene. And it doesn't quite reflect what I saw, so it's got, again, quirky values. We know that Phoenix, the original one, was a bit quirky. Let's go into the picture first of all. Look at the grain. We've still got classic grain there, which was on the original Phoenix. But looking at the colours, we're kind of green here now. This was all scanned by Harman, and sent to me. So scanned professionally, and the colours look a little not quite like what I was expecting, but then maybe it's nice. It's a nice photograph, don't get me wrong. I like the skies, the clouds look nice. It's just this area here. So if I was to print this, I'd need to do a little bit of my own colour wizardry, and the only way that I'm really experienced with this sort of thing with colour is with digital colour. So let's try and tweak it slightly. I'll speed this up for you guys. So it's more that sort of greeny. If I cancel that and go back to that, you can see it's this area here it should be a little bit browner than that. So let's just pull those greens away a little bit. And now we're going into a red hue at the back here, so we're going back to green again. It's pretty tricky. Yeah, it's probably the best I'm going to get it. So let's put that side by side, see the difference. So as you can see on the side by side version, the one on the right is the one that I edited, and I think it looks a bit more natural than the one on the left, which was the scan from Harman. So I would personally go and print the one on the right. But don't forget, this isn't a darkroom print. This would be an inkjet print, because in the darkroom I really wouldn't have a clue how to make that right. I don't print colour. Now if I bring the GoPro image in, that is what the GoPro saw, my video camera, and it's completely different to the scan. If I bring it over to my edited version, again, totally different. So it certainly is a quirky film. Let's have a look at some more photographs. And you've got all this light green moss as well on these stairs, all the way along. And the tide hasn't long started to go out. That's why this is all fresh and wet. But this makes a nice composition and colour for the photography on that film. And I've taken a couple of shots already of these stairs. I'll be interested to see how these greens come out. So I've already showed you these, a couple of photographs that I took. One on the left there, composition running right down that sea wall. We can see all the green and a little bit of the blue sky. The one on the right, you can see the greens and the highlights there. The sun was out, and I was using a Nikon F3 in aperture priority mode. The metering on that camera's really good, and that's what I got on the right hand side. The highlights seem to be a little bit blown out, but the greens are kind of, you know, light green compared to what we see. I was expecting a more lush green. So that's how those two photographs come out. Let's go on to, there's one more photograph I want to show you in this lighting condition that I'm in at the moment, and then the sun started to pop out, so it was time then to try and get some colour on the film. And these little rocks here in this pool of water, I use the polarizer as well, just to take the reflections off the water so I can see straight through it onto the stones. I'll be interested to see how that comes out as well. But all this around here is quite subdued colour. There's nothing really that pops out. But again, until that sun comes out, I don't know. The sun's been behind that light cloud up there for quite some time. So I ended up putting the GoPro back in the bag and walked off to take some photographs and concentrate on my photography. And this photograph came out quite nice. It's a reflection, the beach hut's in the background with reflections in a small pool of water there from the tide. And that one's come out really nice. I actually like the colours of that one, the contrast and the tonality. It's a nice photograph. And now you can see that I'm starting to go for more colour now to see how this film can render all the colours. Another photograph of the beach huts there, nice composition, the lady going past on a pale blue bike. That one's come out nice as well. And then I saw this lady sunbathing underneath, chilling out on the beach underneath a brolly, and that had loads of colour on it. So I took a photograph of that to throw some colours in, and that's come out all right. You're getting this sort of nostalgic film look, you know, which is what I like. If this was digital, it'd be crisp, it'd be full of bursting with colours, but with film, it's, you know, there's so many different colour films out there to choose from, and they've all got their own different tastes, and Phoenix is certainly in a brand of its own. And then I came across this blue and yellow beach hut, so I took a photograph of that. You've got a gold padlock on there, and the yellow and blue on this one seems really vibrant. And again, another composition where I found another one of those colourful umbrellas on the beach. Look at the blue skies though, notice the blue skies. Now I do have a polarising filter on the Nikon F3 on this lens. It's a 28mm lens, and I had a polarising filter on it. So I've got that just to sort of, you know, darken the sky a little bit. And so that's why it's probably as blue as it is. And again, another beach hut there with some vibrant colours. Now, one thing that did surprise me was when I took a photograph of this guy, I wanted to see what it was like on skin tones. And this guy's in the sunlight. You can see he's got his sunglasses on. He's just chilling out. We had a bit of a chat about film, funny enough. And his skin tones have come out really nice. I really do like the quality of this photograph. And then I took another one because his mate came along. And you can see his mate came along on a mobility scooter. And I really do like the way that this has rendered these two photographs in the sunlight with skin tones. I think it's come out really nice. and another shot here that I took behind railings of a little boat, and that's come out nice as well. Nice detail, and the colours are nice, especially the blues. We'll get onto the blues in a short while. I'm going to go off to the farm and get some more colours and shoot this in 120 format on a 6x9 camera. I'll carry on with what I took down the beach, and then we'll get over to the 6x9 camera and I'll show you some medium format photographs from the Phoenix II. So as you can see, I went off to the farm, and let's just quickly go over some of the photographs that I took. These lovely little lambs here, you can see I filmed them on a I don't know what it was, GoPro probably. Look at the photographs, you can see the blooming highlights that I was getting there, and I noticed that on a few different images that I got back. Another one here, you can see again the highlights. It was a bright day, granted. And even the metering, as I say, I was shooting aperture priority. It should have been able to have sorted that out. Another shot here, which we've already seen, the highlights on that green sea wall was sort of real sort of bloomy and glowy. And also on this car here, I've got this sort of orangey kind of flare coming off of the front of the car. Obviously a highlight. It's just interesting the way that that's come out as like an orange hue. And moreover is this photograph here that I found quite interesting on the beach with the beach umbrellas. That was a yellow umbrella, and you can see it's kind of very bloomy with the highlight on the top and also around the sunbed as well. But I'm interested to see how the 6x9 photographs come out, and also how it compared to with the original Phoenix. Let's get on with that. So this image is from the 6x9 camera on the Phoenix II, and it's really nice. It's come out really nice. If I go in and have a look, we zoom in a bit, that's a bit too much. Where are we going here? 62 times. Have a little look around the image. What do you guys think? Okay, granted it's a 6x9 image, so the grain would be finer than a 35mm, but that's not bad. Look at the grain on that 6x9 image. It's actually nice and smooth. And detail on the little trailer there. And the colour of the sky looks nice, the greens look nice, the browny sort of grass where it's been hot recently looks nice. Let's have a look at the Phoenix. And there's the duplicate image that I did on Phoenix 1, totally different looking colour. The sky's a lot deeper at the top, but look at the grain. If we go in, look how much the grain there is now on the Phoenix 1. So they've definitely improved the grain for those people that like the Phoenix but wasn't sure about the grain. That's definitely been improved, as Harman said. Let's put them side by side and have a look. I definitely prefer the Phoenix 1 photograph than the Phoenix 2 photograph than the Phoenix 1. But here's the thing, if I bring up a video still from the moment when I was making the video, you can see it's more similar to Phoenix 1 than it is Phoenix 2 with the browner grass. The Phoenix 2 has got the sort of greener looking grass, so I found that quite interesting. But then again, you know, that's what editing's for, and darkroom filters and the enlarger are for, to change the balance of your colour photographs for print. But yeah, I found that interesting. I also found it intriguing how the P2 rendered the blues really bright and vibrant compared to the original Phoenix. And if we look at another one of these tractors photographs, again, electric looking blues. And again, really vibrant blue here against that red Ford sign. And if we look at one of the beach photographs, the one I said where the yellow was a little bit blowy out, look at the blue sky, how deep that is. Now, I did have a polarizing filter on that, but even so, look at the deck chair, the sunbed there, the blue on that. Really vibrant, really striking. And there's two more that I did side by side. This composition here with the trailer and the big tractor wheel there. This is Phoenix 1. Again, if I go in here, the grain ain't so bad on this one, but you can still noticeable up there in the sky. And we've got bags of detail. The greens look natural. Everything looks okay on that one. Let's open up the Phoenix 2. And this is the Phoenix 2. Let's go into the sky. The grain's a lot finer as expected. Actually, the whole image looks better, but as for the colour, it looks quite green. So a little bit like when we go back to the earlier photographs of the beach where the greens were really popping. So maybe on this emulsion the greens really do pop. I don't know. But you can see here, look at the greens, how lush they look compared to the Phoenix 1, which is there. Look, the Phoenix 1 looks a bit more natural, maybe a little bit more magenta, maybe, I don't know. You start looking at these things, but look how green the P2 looks compared to the P1. I'll put those side by side so you can have a look, guys. And from the whole shoot, I think the favourite ones, I've chose 3 that I like, and I've put them into Photoshop and done a little bit of tweaking to my own taste, just desaturated slightly, which is how I like my colour photographs. Was the beach huts and the reflections, so a little tiny bit of dodging on the reflections just to make them pop a little bit more. And the other one I liked was the beach sandy area there, the one that I took earlier on. That one, again, just highlighted the centre of the image a little bit, desaturated slightly. I did tweak the colour a little bit more, and threw a little tiny bit of darkness down at the bottom there, you can see, so it just makes the image pop a little bit more. So that was one of my other favourite ones, but this is the sort of thing I would do if I was going to be making a print of these, like any of us would with colour photographs in the darkroom or on the computer. And the other one is the gentleman sitting there looking out to the sea. Again, just desaturated him very slightly and just changed the colour balance a little bit. So these are sort of my preferred look for these sort of photographs. And that's the thing with colour film. If you're going to be shooting colour film and scanning colour film, we all go into our editing suites and we change it to our own taste, or as I said, in the darkroom if you're making darkroom prints. So let us know in the comments, guys, particularly if you've shot Phoenix in the past. Is this something that you're going to be particularly interested in grabbing? I'm sure it is if you like the original Phoenix. A lot of people didn't, and a lot of people did, but that's just personal choice at the end of the day. I don't shoot a great deal of colour, but I do like trying quirky films and new things. And I, for one, think it's great that companies like Harman are pumping out and listening to people, and they're trying new things and putting it out there for us to try. At the end of the day, if this film community didn't have people like Harman and the other manufacturers around the world doing new stuff and trying new things, it would be pretty much dead. But film isn't, it's pretty much alive. So well done for Harman for bringing out a new emulsion for your Phoenix II. Good luck with it. Guys, let us know in the comments, and I'll catch you next time.